Witness one here. So you think it don't get western up here in the spring? You don't never know what can happen in these mountains. I promise you that. Yeah. Got a weather system moving in here. See it across there? Oh yeah. Yep. Get back in the car here where it's warm. Oh yeah. So you know that compass that's on the Mason's lodge sign and on everything, the compass is a compass in a square. The compass is set at 47 degrees. Remember I was telling you guys about Charlie Kirk with the 347 hats on there and the symbolism with it all, that 7 plus 4 is 11 and there was 3 rows, that was 33 hours after that they caught the so-called killer. And the compass is set at 47 degrees that you see on there. And also the red and blues that Charlie was rolling. And the red lodge is, the blue lodge goes from the 1st to the 3rd degree. And then it switches to the red lodge, where it goes from the 4th to the 33rd degree. So, and Charlie Kirk was also talking about defending the Masons. So all these things add up, you know. I was thinking about those horrible places to go shop, Walmart and Target and all those places that are, you know, totally in on all this. Pretty much everybody's in on it, you know. And boy, it's coming down now with that grommel. It's called grommel. It's not snow. See it? It's round and puffy. See that? It's called grommel. But you know, you always got to pay attention to the symbolism and the stuff you see. I noticed that all you guys been catching that stuff. You know what I'm saying? All the numbers you've been seeing. Like if you see in the number 11, that's the 2 pillars inside of the as above, so below inside of the Mason's handbook. A balance between the spiritual and the physical. And he goes into a long, in-depth study on that stuff. Like I said, I'll tell you guys about it, but you're going to have to do your own research. I've been doing a lot of research. I got a lot of time on my hands up here in these woods doing that. And so, you know, I still get stalked up here and everything else. But it's a hell of a lot better than being around them fools all the time, zapping you and stalking you constantly, putting curses on you, you know. And unfortunately, you know, that's the way it is. We'll have to deal with it. I was listening to this one guy, he's getting gang stalked. Was it Bama Hut? But man, dude, all he does is complain and all he does is vent on it, you know? He's a real smart guy and all that, but all he does is sit there and vent and complain and start crying and everything. And it's like, man, he give you anxiety listening to him. Some of these gang stalkers, you gotta you know, you gotta be real selective. You know, if you're having a good day, don't turn on a gang stalking channel, you know? Don't do it. You know, you got to find some kind of happiness sometime. But sitting there getting on that video talking about what they doing to you all the time, you know, I just like give stories and stuff like that. But I try to give encouragement, you know, and you know, it just is what it is. And I get it, you know, your taste as you grow in the simulation. You know, your taste change and you got other people that you like. I like my guy, Welcome to the Awakening. I'll tell you a story about him. This is how I met him. I was in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and he comes popping up on my feed talking about this church called the Altar Church there. and about how a Marine went to church there, and the pastor there was a reptilian, and I had a dealings with that church and them people in there and all that. I mean, I went inside there and checked that place out and met them people and everything else. And that pastor got shot by that guy like 7 times or something like that, 7 or 9 times. And the guy from the Marine, and the Marine shot him in the head and in the chest and everything else. 2 weeks later, he was up there. The pastor was up there 2 weeks later preaching. And I was having dealings with them clowns, the altar church. I kept running into people talking about that all, and it sounded to me like, you know, the Antichrist with the head wound. So, you know, everybody else was all bragging on him, and plus he was in big time into politics. But that Marines, after he shot that pastor, he claimed that he drew a picture of him and claimed all kinds of stuff. If you want to look it up, you can see it. It's in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, the altar church. And just look up the shooting and everything and what that guy claimed. And he made it all the way down to Boise from northern Idaho, which is Boise, southern Idaho. I don't know how he made it there. He got a plane ticket and he flew to Washington, and that's where they arrested him. He was trying to get over the Washington, the White House's gate outside, and the Secret Service caught him. How he got on a plane and got a ticket, you may never know. But he claimed he was he even drew pictures and told them sorry they wanted him to be a sex slave and all this stuff. And I believe that man 100%, that Marine. So yeah, I'm dealing with a cold. It's, you know, it's tough out there, and you gotta, you know, weird things are happening all the time, you know. Can't tell you all the weird stuff that happens to me all the time. I don't have enough video footage to put it up, you know, put it all up there, telling the stories about it, you know. And all I can say is you guys need to dig deeper with God, and you know, that's where I'm at. I'm out here living a literal wilderness, you know, and it's hard out here. It's not easy. But, you know, I made it last summer. I'll make it again. I'll make it to the destination, whatever God has planned for me. But he never promised it was going to be easy. So you guys got to keep your chins up, you know. You got to keep moving, pushing, pressing forward. And having faith, and, you know. And I know it gets old, and them guys get you angry and stuff and pissed and all that stuff. You know, I had the same guy up here the last 3 days in a row in a truck, just driving up and down the road, acting like he was getting wood, and all he did was stalk me all day long. I'd go to this spot, and I'd move 2 or 3 miles up here, he'd come, and he'd turn around. I'd move 2 or 3 miles down, and he'd turn around, you know, and it with his bright lights on me the whole time, and you know, I'm up here to try to get some peace and quiet after 13 years of being up here, being out there, and you know, it gets old, I'll tell you that much. And so if you can capture any kind of peace and quiet, no matter what it costs you, because you know they refuse to let you have it. And you know, the funny thing about all them guys is they're all evil people. They're all criminals, every last one of them. And, you know, the Bible talks about they're gonna call evil good and good evil, and that's what's happening to you. So you know, keep your faith, pray more, fast more, read your Bible more if you got time. I know life is what it is, and you got to keep plugging away to pay your bills and all that stuff. So I'm gonna shout out to all the moms with the kids, shout out to the dads with the kids, shout out to, you know, everybody out there who's dealing with this and needing some comfort and everything. You know, only comfort you're gonna find, I found, was, you know, read my Bible and in the Lord. And it's not easy, because these fools will set up a kill zone on you, you know. It's like when I was in that cabin, it was a total kill zone. What they do, you know, a lot of you, if you're getting zapped and shocked and all that stuff happening to you, they have set up kill zones around you, kill grids. You know, they're grids. They gridded it off. It's like when I was down in that cabin, man, they lit me up all the time. Yeah, and it was a kill grid. So, you know, out here, they can light me up from above and all that, but for the most part, you know, I'm not constantly being zapped from every angle. So, you know, I feel for some of you who are literally getting killed where you're in your apartment and all that, you know. A lot of the guys that are getting gang stalked, they're not getting zapped. So, I don't know. Who knows what's going on with all that, but I don't trust it. If nobody's getting zapped, I don't trust them. So, just want to give you some encouragement, you guys. You know, I know how bad it gets. I know, you know, everything about it pretty much. Have and studied a lot of it. So if you get time to study, do it, because, you know, it'll help you to know your enemy. Anyways, have a good one. Later.